curiosities of the Feast of Christmas, and it's not true in any of our other feasts. There are 4 separate masses for this day, and each mass has its own readings and its own prayers, and depending on how many masses you say, you deal with them that way. And the reason is that it's only been about 300 years in the Catholic Church where the prayers and readings have been standardized through the whole world. And at the time when the readings were all put together and standardized, the feasts were being celebrated, but each area used their own peculiar readings. The Feast of Christmas, no one wanted to give up their readings. So what they did was put them all together, each one getting a separate service. The ones we read today actually come from Bethlehem. The first Mass that was in the evening came from Seville. The Mass that is in the morning, the first one in the morning, comes from Nazareth, and the noontime Mass actually comes from Rome. The Mass that is celebrated in Bethlehem at midnight, the whole theme, of course, is light and darkness, if you listen to the readings. In the one in Rome, the same thing. The whole theme is light and darkness, but different readings. And it's curious that this one is celebrated at what is supposed to be the darkest part of the night, and the one in Rome is celebrated at what is supposed to be the brightest part of the day. They celebrated it at noon. The theme that they're trying to get at in this particular liturgy is the idea of being able to see the presence of God. One of the things that you and I are all aware of is that you only see light in reference to darkness. Probably the best example of that is the stars. You and I know the stars are there all day, but you don't see them till the nighttime comes. And if you think you see stars here, you should go to Arroyo Seco some night. The further you get away from light, the more stars you see. They're all there, but the more stars you see. And what the readings are telling us is when the night was in the midst of its course, and they're talking much more there about the enslavement of the Jewish people under the Romans at the time. When the night was in the midst of its course, that's when the light of God came to them. And that's when they recognized the presence of God. And it's a reminder, I think, to all of us, that if I were to take my own experience as a child, I was raised knowing about Jesus. We went to Mass every church, every Sunday. I described my parents quite honestly as Catholic Nazis. But we were involved in evening celebrations, novenas, you know, all that stuff all the way through. But only later in my life, around the middle of college it was, did I ever go through a really dark period. And when I went through that dark period is the first time I recognized Jesus. Jesus had been close to me, and Jesus had been taught to me all the way through my education. But there's something about a dark moment or a moment of real need when you notice the brightness and the presence of Jesus Christ. And that's what this liturgy is to remind us of, that oftentimes the brightness or the glory of Jesus around us is diminished by there's so many other bright things and so much glory around us. But to the degree that diminishes, Jesus grows in light. And once one actually fixes on who Jesus is, and fixes on who Jesus is for each of us, you never miss that light again.